welcome back to the Hermitcraft FTB server. And as you can see, there's a little something different here. The essence farms have been removed from this area, and I've gotten them all installed in here, and one or two more. Up here we've got the nether crop, and then we go down a level, and we've got glowstone. Next level down is Certus quartz. Next level down from that is essence crop, of course, and diamond crop. And down here, just plain old vanilla sugarcane, because there was a point not too long ago that I realized I was running out of books. So I got sugarcane going for the paper and books and whatnot. And so that's all set up, and I've got more elevator blocks going down a fair amount so that I can set up plenty more of these if I need to. Now over here I've got materials processing mostly automated. A whole row of pulverizers. Over here there's a whole row of furnaces, and they're processing everything from electrum blend to burning rubber into plastic, and doing iron, and both kinds of processor chips are now automated in production, and so on. So that's good. Now I'm going to start expanding a little bit here. Let's see. I don't know why I come over to this. I've got a remote in my hand. Anyway. ME drive. Let's have, say, 2 more of those. Bang. That fast. Alright, now here's a challenge for you. 64K. Let's make 4 of them to start with, because that one drive over there has 4 empty bays. And look how fast that's going. That is freaking awesome. So now just go 64 in here, and here's 4 drives. 4 storage things. That is excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and slap these in down here. Now, there was one that I tried to make a while back, and I had to give it up because not only did I not have enough materials, I couldn't produce things fast enough to make it in a reasonable amount of time. The 16 meg storage unit. Let's make one of those. Let's see how long that takes. Yeah, that one's going to take a little while. But 16 megs, whoa, that just became my new favorite over the 64. The 64K, 16 megs is a whole lot of 64Ks. Alright. I'm going to let that go ahead and cook. Okay, it's going to have to wait for processors, which are now automatically being taken care of. Here and there. And what's this one doing? Pulverized gold, doing gold, because some of those things need gold. Okay, fine. Alright, so we've got our storage capacity taken care of. Let me put the 2 new drives in, the 2 new drive bays. Those are going to be filled with 64, with the 16Ms. That's, what is that? Yeah, that's 10 bays per drive, so that's going to be 10 16Ms. Alright, 20 16Ms, excuse me. So that's going to be like 32 something or other. 320, well, 16 times 10, and then times 2. Yeah, it's about 64. 64M. Cool. Alright, it's going to be waiting on processors to finish that, but it'll take care of itself automatically. Now, I thought of something I wanted to try out, and I'm going to have to head off this way to a place that is a little bit distant, but not in use by anyone, so that I can try something out. Alright, here we are, arriving at my little test area. It's about 1,000 blocks or so off to the east of the base. And what I've done here is I've put together a fairly large-sized fenced area on this dirt platform here, encompassing most of this little island here. And I'm going to try something because I've heard about this ender quarry and I've wanted to try it out. So we're going to pop that sucker down right there, and I'm going to drop an ender chest on top of it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe all it needs is a bit of power. And Zuljan coming in for a screenshot. Okay, well, control the caps lock here. Make it a good one. Alright, let's just drop a tesseract on here and set up correctly. A main power, engage. Now, is that all it needs, or does it need to have a bit of energy conduit between the tesseract and the thing? I don't know. I don't see it doing anything, so I'm going to assume it needs to have that little bit of conduit. Just pop this down here. Bit of conduit. And blocked, receiving energy, main power, go. Okay. Now I was just kind of curious here, because the way I understand this thing works is it replaces everything that it mines with dirt. And I'm curious, does that include the water blocks? Does that include the trees and leaves? Interesting question. But I don't see it doing anything. So now I'm questioning what it needs for power. It's got plenty here. I've got it on my main power thing. Do I have to wrench this pipe at all? The power? No. Ignore redstone. I don't see anything going in there. Or can it not use an ender chest? That would be silly. It's an ender quarry. An ender chest just kind of sounds sensible to me. Okay, I was going to try to just kind of barrel through this and make it work regardless. But now I'm going to take a quick break and look this thing up and see what I'm doing wrong, if anything. Alright, I've looked it up, and apparently it may not need power. What I didn't do was right-click it. Okay, it's found the fence boundary. And that should be, yes, it's pulling stuff now. Alright. And it doesn't need the power, so we'll just pick that up. Now, the big question is, which corner is it starting on? Apparently not this one. There's supposed to be a particle effect that goes with that. For the area that it's actually working. Of course, I may have my particles turned down. Let's find out. Video settings, animations, particles, all. Okay. Nothing here. Check this corner. Not seeing any particles. All right. And nothing there. Alright, okay. I'm going to hang out here and just kind of watch this thing for a while and see what all happens. Now there was stuff going in here at first, and now I don't see anything. 0.0 complete. Mining at 1993.41 minus 143. Okay, I can confirm it did need power. It just had some stored up from when I was carrying it with this power suit charging it up. It's definitely making progress now. You can see the numbers changing. Alright, I'm going to watch it for a while and see how it goes. Alright, I can confirm it is definitely working. There's the particle effect, or there it was. But you can also see right here, this area has been changed to dirt. And this line where I'm not... what I should have thought of was to hit F9 and turn on the chunk boundaries. And right along this boundary, dirt this side, sand over here, and there's our particle effect again, right over there. And you look over here and you can see that the bottom has been turned to dirt in the area that it's finished. And as for not doing anything here, even though it's within the chunk, you look straight up and that's the boundary. So anything inside that boundary, which means the boundary itself will not be mined. And that means it's going to stop here and go this side and do this chunk for as far as it's inside the boundary, and then it will go to another chunk and repeat until it has done everything within the boundary. I am curious to see what's going to happen to the trees and whatnot. Will they be replaced with dirt? I'll be interested to know. Alright, I took a little break for a while and let this thing run, and here's what we have here. Apparently it's replacing the blocks with dirt, but the surface blocks are apparently being replaced with grass blocks, which is cool. And various random plant things are coming up, apparently on their own, possibly seeded with the dirt. I don't know. I haven't actually seen them appear. But so the result is going to be that this island is not going to be turned into a bare surface of just plain raw dirt. It did not change the leaf blocks into dirt. I don't know yet about the tree trunks, the logs themselves, whether they're going to be replaced with dirt. Right now it's working on this third chunk, having finished the first two. And if we go up here and right click on this thing, you can see it is now 6.44% complete. I like that it tells you how far along it is in the assigned area. This is a pretty good sized area. I used about 5.5 stacks of fence to set up this border. So it's going to be busy for a good little while. And the advantage of this thing, it's not going to leave a great big gaping hole in the world. And it's not going to leave a barren stretch of dirt, because, you know, there was no dirt at all on this island to start with. It was all sand on the surface. And so had it just simply placed bare dirt on the surface, that's what it would remain, is just bare dirt. But it apparently is placing grass blocks, which means this is going to look like a reasonable island. The palm trees and whatnot may be a little bit out of place, and it's entirely possible as yet that the palm logs might be replaced with dirt. I don't know. Be interested to find out, which is the reason I set the border up as high as I did. I wanted to make sure that the trees were under it, in the realm of the area that is eligible for being mined. So with that underway, I'm going to check in on this later on to see how it's going. But, oh right, I've let this thing go for a couple of hours now, mostly some AFK and mostly offline. It's 11.5% done, and that's got it most of the chunks along this area right here, and then it'll be, apparently it's going to do all these chunks that way, and then it's going to come down here and do these chunks and go that way, and so on. So it seems to be working. It doesn't require me to be right here. I like that. The chunk loading is very easy on things because only the chunk with the machine itself and the chunk that it's currently working on is dealt with. Everything else is not loaded until it's actually needed. So I'm going to head back to the base, turn that chunk thing off, and see what else I can get into. Alright, I've been thinking about it, and I think I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take all these fans down, and I'm going to strip this whole mob spawner area down. And this thing needs to be set up in the new place with a much better setup than what I've got here. Something that makes a little more sense, is set up more efficiently, and is rigged for producing a lot more mobs than what we've got now. Oh, I'll get that later. And there's something else too. I've got a couple of these dollies with mob spawners on them. One of them is spider, and I don't remember what the other one is. I really wish it would label what monster spawner is in there. Is it, there's a monster spawner, but which one? That would be nice to know. But I've got a few of those. And I want to put together a setup that is using all of them. To kind of maximize what we can do with mob spawning. Most especially for those things that we're not going to get much of any other way. And I'm also going to start pulling the rest of this machinery out of here. And getting stuff out of here because I want to complete the job of getting completely moved out of this mountain face, because really it's just no good. So I'm going to work on this, get everything set up and going, work on getting things set up, and I think starting next time we're going to get that mob spawner system set up. Alright, one more thing I wanted to do before I got out of here is I've got the nether quartz thing. Well, it's doing its thing here, bringing that supply in, and I've got this huge stack of hoppers completely full, feeding this one as well, irregardless of what the system's supply and demand thing is, because finally that 16 mem storage is completed. Now I'm going to go ahead and start another one cranking, and that'll be busy for I don't know how long, but I'm popping the first one into place right there. And we'll get some more stuff going soon. I want to get a couple of those other drives going with the fluid storage. A couple other drive bays going, you know, loaded up with fluid storage, and start gathering all the things. And we'll work on some of this stuff coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.